All right, today we're going to finish up our notes from this unit. We're going to be talking about how to prove that lines are parallel based on some angles that are given to us. So if you look at this system here, we don't know for sure that these lines are parallel, M and N. We know that they're cut by transversal T, but we're going to be given some different information each problem or each number here, and we'll decide if that proves they're parallel or not. So if you look at the number one, we have number one, angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. So angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. So because those are alternate exterior angles are supposed to be congruent if the lines are parallel. So we would say that yes, that does prove that they are parallel because alternate exterior angles are parallel, or sorry, are congruent if the lines are parallel. So that's a good one. All right, next we have angle 7 is congruent to angle 6. Well, if you look at angle 7 and angle 6, those are just vertical angles. Now, vertical angles are always congruent, and that has nothing to do with line M. So, vertical angles are always congruent. So that does not prove anything. That has nothing to do with line M, so I have no idea what that tells me about line M. Number 3, angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Now, if you look at angle 1 and angle 5, the relationship there, those are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are supposed to be congruent. So, with those being congruent, that does prove that those lines are parallel. Now we got angle 5 and angle 4. The relationship there is alternate interior angles, and we know alternate interior angles are supposed to be congruent, so that proves that those lines are parallel. So that is a yes. Now the measure of angle 3 and the measure of angle 5, when you add them up, it equals 180. Now, those are same-side interior angles, and we know that same-side interior angles are supposed to be supplementary. So that does prove that those lines are parallel. Sorry about that. Same-side interior angles are supplementary. All right, angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. All right, again, those are same side interior, but like we just said, those are supposed to be supplementary, not congruent. So this does not prove the relationship, or the lines are parallel, because again, same side interior angles are supplementary, not congruent. All right, measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2 add up to equal 180. Well, angle 1 and angle 2, those add up to equal a linear pair. And linear pairs are always supplementary. And that has nothing to do with line N. So that is a no. That does not help us prove anything. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. Again, those are just like number 3, those are corresponding, so corresponding angles are congruent. So that is a yes. And then the measure of angle 2 and the measure of angle 7 equals 180. All right, those are alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles are supposed to be congruent, not supplementary. So that would be a no. We would say alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay. Next, this was not written in your notes. We had a little typo, but we've got it covered now. So go ahead and write this into your notes. What value of x would make M parallel to N? So if the measure of angle 1 was 4x minus 80 and the measure of angle 5 is 3x minus 50, 1 and 5 are corresponding angles, so that means they need to be equal to each other because corresponding angles are congruent. So we need to set 4x minus 80 equal to 3x minus 50. And then we can just subtract 3x off of both sides to get x minus 80 equals negative 50, and then add 80 to both sides to get that x is 30. So if x is 30, those would be parallel. If x is anything else, not parallel. All right. So find the value of x so that m is parallel to n, and identify the postulate or theorem we used. Well, those angles there are corresponding. So the postulate or theorem we use is that corresponding angles are congruent. And so that means that we need to set them equal to each other. 6x minus 3 equals 2x plus 1. Subtract 2x from both sides to get 4x minus 3 equals 1. Add 3 to both sides to get 4x equals 4. Divide both sides by 4. And we get that x is equal to 1. Find the measure of LMN so that A is parallel to B. So LMN is down here in the bottom right. And there's actually two ways we can prove that. We can prove that with alternate exterior angles being congruent. So we could say that we could do 4x minus 6 equals 9x minus 12. And that would be with using alternate exterior angles are congruent. We could also make a linear pair. So we could say that 2x plus 152.4 plus 4x plus 6 add up to equal 180. So we should end up with the same answer for x either way. So that would be a linear pair. All right, so we could subtract 4x from both sides to get negative 6 is equal to 5x minus 12. Add 12 to both sides to get 6 is equal to 5x. And let's see here. Did I copy that right? Yep. So then we divide both sides by 5. And we get that x is going to be equal to 1.2. Then on this one, I have combining like terms, 6x plus 158.4 equals 180. And then subtracting 158.4 from both sides. (6x) equals, let's see, 180 minus 158.4, 21.6. Divide that by 6, and that gets me 3.6. So I think I screwed up somewhere on this first one. I'm going to go back and look. I got 4x minus 6 equals 9x minus 12. So I subtracted 4x from both sides. It's 4x plus 6. So this should be 18. So 18 divided by 5 is not 1.2, it is 3.6. So we got 3.6 either way, so that's good. All right, knew I made a mistake somewhere. Lines A and B are cut by the transversal T. Find the value of x that makes A parallel to B. So angle 2 and 5 are alternate exterior angles. Means that the measure of angle 2 is 6x minus 8, and the measure of angle 5 is 4x plus 16. So if those are parallel, alternate exterior angles are going to be congruent. So that means I can set those equal to each other. Subtract 4x from both sides. Get 2x minus 8 equals 16. Add 8. 2x equals 24. And divide both sides by 2. We get that x is 12. And then lastly, angle 3 and angle 6 are corresponding angles. The measure of angle 3 is 5x plus 23. The measure of angle 6 is 8x minus 1. So corresponding angles are congruent, so we can set those equal to each other. Subtract 5x from both sides. Gives me 23 is equal to 3x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. 24 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 8. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, as always, shoot me an email or a Canvas message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great one.